Language into thrust. As you kneel before Azawa, Legend of Zelda's turn to dust. Podcasting from the future like your time was dead and gone. And we rock the best site like ComicsOnline.com.
Guys, Gale and Hurd.
Hello, Gale.
Hey, I'm by myself.
They didn't buddy you up with somebody. How many Comic Cons is this for you?
Oh God, it's certainly double digits.
Oh man.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if Frank told you, but it was actually last year at Comic Con when we were here. We kind of tackled Robert Kirkman at a dinner that Frank traditionally throws at Comic Con. We all come whether we have a program or movie to promote or not. We're habitués, where we conspired to do just the series that.
What's funny is I actually saw you last year at the Hamlet 2
Yes!
party, and then I saw Frank. I was looking over the edge. I saw Frank walking into the building, and then 3 months later it was announced you two were both teaming up. So I was like, in my head, I'm like, it happened like
It did.
10 feet away from me.
It did happen at a restaurant that went out of business called Rainwater.
How did Robert respond to that? Was he like, yes, I found that you guys who I want to do this with? What I mean,
It's the Frank and Robert go way back. He doesn't leave Kentucky very much, but when he does, he and Frank would connect. But I think the big thing was there had been an earlier incarnation that didn't perform. So once burned, twice careful. So we said, look, I had preliminary discussions with AMC. I said, they really want to make this. And he at that time, Breaking Bad, was sort of fairly new. And he basically said, so Mad Men,
Oh yeah.
period piece, advertising, they want to do a zombie show. And I said, well, you know what? The other thing you need to know about AMC is Fear Fest. It's a incredibly popular block of programming, and it's classic horror, thriller, genre, sci-fi films. And that was what that's what made us all feel comfortable, that they understood what we were going for, which is trying to do a classic zombie TV series.
Well, speaking of AMC, like Breaking Bad, Mad Men, like huge award-winning shows and whatnot, and I mean over the years, genre shows tend to be completely ignored by the Emmys. Do you think The Walking Dead may actually push that?
I hope so. People have said that before. Jim Cameron and I did Aliens, and Sigourney Weaver was nominated for an Academy Award. We received 7 Academy Awards. On the other hand, we have some pretty stiff competition from our fellow shows on AMC. So.
Well, I do hope. I mean, if you guys follow the comic, it's such a character-driven show. I mean, it literally would be a crime if they ignore. I mean, but then again, they've ignored every other great show.
The one thing that hit me when I just watched the trailer downstairs is like there's this discussion going on about Mayor's New Lost. And I was thinking, oh, here it is. Another apocalypse, another bunch of people trying to survive. Weird circumstances. Did you guys ever kind of discuss that?
We didn't, but every time we see something like that on a blog somewhere, it was like, God willing, and the creek don't rise. That would be great. In fact, yesterday we were doing some press. We saw J.J. Abrams, and told him we're all huge Lost fans. Carlton Hughes is a close friend of mine, and I've gone as a fan to Damon and Carlton's fabulous Hall H panels. Where they give things out and all of that, and hopefully one day we'll be in Hall H.
Can you tell us what the fun is to work with the apocalypse?
To work with the apocalypse. Well, when you're in Atlanta, the interesting thing is that you actually kind of feel, because kudzu has taken over, you honestly feel as if Life After Man, the series on Discovery or History Channel, you kind of feel that is already happening. Anything that's been abandoned for any short period of time feels like it's been taken over by nature. That we are really only here temporarily. All of the edifices we build, all of the the legacy that we've left is actually very, very temporary. It can be gone in a flash, and that's very present when we're filming. We find so many abandoned buildings. If you saw the promo, you'll see. I mean, we were able to shoot. That's downtown Atlanta, pretty deserted. Felt like a place that had been abandoned, and that so resonates for us when we're shooting.
Well, on the trailer, I mean, you guys, the production design is insane. Looks like you guys have an extremely high budget. I mean, I know television, you guys are cut back from a feature film budget, but I mean, what kind of constraints are you guys working with AMC? They do Mad Men, which is obviously a very expensive show. I mean, have you guys pretty much have
the budgets are not big. Frank and I both started out in the real guerrilla filmmaking.
Corman.
We started with Roger Corman. Frank told me that he was, that early on he had wanted to be part of the set crew on Terminator. So we went in the same circles. And you learn how to put
guerrilla filmmaking,
a large scale on film for not a large budget. And it's also why I think Super 16 was a great choice.
Absolutely.
Shooting Super 16, everyone's going to HD. We looked at HD and it did not feel right. In Super 16 we did test. We went, you know what? Our zombie apocalypse is going to be shot in Super 16. And,
it looks phenomenal. Like the footage is like the cinematography.
And I'm sure you heard who the DP for the pilot was.
It's the guy from The Shield, right?
No, it was David Tattersall, who shot The Green Mile.
Oh, perfect.
And then our series DP is tremendous. David Boyd, who worked on Deadwood and also Friday Night Lights.
Oh, excellent.
So we have great people behind the camera and in front of the camera.
You've taken some other comic books to the screen before, and I'm sort of curious. This one of the Walking Dead sort of stands out from most comic books for people who read comic books, and I guess I'm wondering how this was different from those other experiences, and also how it's different making it for TV rather than.
This is really character driven.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's known for. It's complex characters. They are flawed characters. And when everything's stripped away to survival, people make interesting choices. And every episode we're able to explore that. That's not something you could do in a feature.
Yeah.
And Frank, Robert, I don't know if he told you, well, he knows, but he resisted optioning this as a feature. He felt that a 2-hour version of The Walking Dead would be no way to do it justice. And he only wanted a TV series. And he felt that was the right medium, and that you could, because the ensemble cast is so large, you could really do it justice in a feature. So we're able to have episodes really examining all of the cast, each character and how they are responding to a particular dramatic event, interaction with their fellow survivors.
It's also such a story arc driven show. Do you feel that's been translated into the episodes you've done so far, or the overall goal for the show? Is it going to come across in the same way, or is it more just in the moment trying to flesh out these characters?
We are following the path. We are diverging from it. We have some new characters that aren't in comic books. People think they know exactly when the first 6 episodes are going to end and when it's going to end. I can pretty much assure you that's not the case.
And Frank said he's not killing Shane for another 2 seasons.
Thanks, Frank. Thanks, Frank. You didn't read the to do and not to do points, did you?
I didn't give anything away.
Oh, okay, that's what my new friends here are telling me.
No, give nothing away.
He was very ambiguous about it.
Said it's a zombie show.
The non-talking points.
Wait, there's zombies?
Okay. Don't worry. Hey, we won't tell everybody else.
Yeah,
Only
don't
these
give it
people.
away. Whatever the hell I said. Just leave that part out.
What are the rest of the things he wasn't supposed to say? We'll make sure he didn't hit any of those
I wasn't
too.
here.
Well, just you can answer ambiguously, but which since Frank is very
Shane next week. That fucker's days are nothing.
since he's very good at the prison style film.
Yes.
Are you guys planning on doing the prison arc from the comics? Is that
there will likely be a prison.
All right, I'll take that.
But once again, we are not going to have people, say, okay, well, why do I need to watch next week's episode? I know where it's going to end anyway. So we're gonna shake it up.
Cool.
Can you tell us a little bit about your personal relationship to zombies that came up? what you've done machines, the aliens. There's a bunch of undead.
But zombies are similar to aliens. I mean, think about it. You can't negotiate with them, or even Terminator. You can't negotiate with them. You can't reason with them. They have an objective. They will stop at nothing until they achieve it, which is making you amazing. Yes, exactly.
So what do you like? What do you like?
What do I like?
Do you like anything?
Do I like zombies?
How's it fun for you? Is what I'm actually trying to ask. What's so fascinating is supernatural creatures like aliens, zombies.
Because you can face your deepest fears, but at the same time go to sleep at night and go, well, at least there aren't really zombies out there. At least there aren't really, chest bursters and face huggers. But you can still experience vicariously the horror, the scares. And, we work in such a pressure cooker to begin with. When you're watching shows like this, you're not thinking about anything. You lose yourself in that world. And I'm an adrenaline junkie.
It's a really classic moment. It's an iconic moment.
Last week, on our days off, I was swimming in the scuba diving in the Georgia Aquarium with the whale sharks and the sand tigers and the hammerheads in the big tank. And in fact, my dear friends, Lori Holden and Emma Bell were there cheering me on. But that's what I do, and making genre films like this is great.
Alright, guys, I'm really sorry we have to.
Thank you. You can snorkel too, but I don't.
From leaping tall buildings to going off like gamma bombs. Switch your internet browser to ComicsOnline.com.